All right, so this section is about building a Paydex score, okay? And really, I'm going to break down what it is and how to do that, okay? Now, this is for any business, whether you're a new business owner or an existing business owner. This works for both, okay? The Paydex score is issued by Dun Bradstreet and it's attached to your DMB number. Which, if you don't have one, this shows you how to get one. And then also, if you're tier four, where you have reasons that you get automatically denied, you're gonna want to go through these ones here, okay? Anyways, now basically, Paydex is primarily used for like vendors, suppliers, gas cards. It's not really used for traditional loans or lines of credit, right? And as we go through this, I'll explain. So Paydex is really vendor trust, and the FICO is more like the lender's trust. So what a Paydex score is used for really is for vendor credit, right? A lot of suppliers use them. They either have like net 30s, 60s, 90s, and the number at the end of it is typically how many days you have to pay off your invoice in full. Okay, so and it's common with suppliers. And the higher your Paydex, it can allow you to negotiate better terms with your suppliers, right? So they may give you discounts as well on bulk orders, or they just may give you like instead of a net 30, they may give you a net 60, right? So really, that's what it's for. Some landlords use it when you're renting, when you're actually getting a space or getting you approved for like a lease, right? So tenant screening and also commercial insurers, they sometimes use Paydex. So really that's how it's used. It's used for that, and it's not really used for lenders, right? Really a lot of lenders, they still base their approvals based on these things. And I'll go later on how they actually look at it, okay? But for now, we're just going to focus on building a Paydex because I said I would show you guys how to do it, right? So the most two important things that you need to know about Paydex is personal guarantee versus non-personal guarantee. If they ask for your SSN in the application, it won't build your Paydex, okay? So make sure it's only asking for the EIN and your Duns and Bradstreet number, okay? So that way you can build your Paydex score. This is the recommended stack, right? You start off with NAV Prime Build, it gives you a trade line, and then it also lets you review your business credit. You start this month one, you get 2 to 3 net 30 accounts. This is just like an example list. You get this month one, 1 to 2 gas cards at month five. Sometimes you can start it sooner, around 3 or 4, month 3 or 4. And that's if you can provide actual like bank statements typically. Some places ask for your bank statements to get you approved, right? So again, you can kind of skip waiting that time if you have revenue. You basically maintain and pay everything for another 3 months, and you'll have a Paydex score after that, right? So it's generally about like 8 months. Everything varies, by the way. This is just what how long it took me to do it, but everything can vary. Just keep that in mind. Now, nav.com, you go to nav.com. This is like, for example, a Credit Karma or like any other software that lets you view your personal credit, right? But for business, and I think Nav is the only provider. I haven't been able to find another provider. Anyways, Nav Prime Build is what you want to get. It's $49.99 a month. It reports as a trade line, and if you look, you'll be able to see Nav Prime. So click Nav Prime right there, and then you scroll all the way down, and this is the one you want to get, right? You can look at this one if you want. You don't have to, but this is enough to be able to get the actual trade line, and then this is where it's going to report to and let you view reports on. Okay. Then after that, within that like the first month, you want to get about 2 to 3 net 30 accounts. At the end of the day, this is just recommendations, right? Like get as many as you can get or really afford, but generally 2 to 3 is enough. If you can only get one net 30, don't feel bad. Something's better than nothing, right? And also try to get items that your business actually uses because, for example, if you go to Uline, which is one of the providers, it's a lot of warehouse stuff. So sometimes you're going to be buying things that doesn't really can't really be used in your business. But anyways, let's go ahead and take a look on how it works, right? Now, this list here are the ones I know these ones do report to business credit, but there's a lot of net 30s that you can get. If you don't pick one off these ones, then just make sure they're actually reporting to your Experian or Equifax report, okay, for business. Make sure it's for business, right? You want to also spend at least $70 per account, 70 to 100. so that way they actually report it. Okay. And again, pick about like 2 to 3 or whatever you can actually afford. Maintain them for 5 to 6 months while you also keep your NAP Prime active. And then once you've been reporting the payments consistently, you move on to the gas cards. Okay. And this is just me repeating to make sure that they report to the credit bureaus. Okay. So use your EIN and DMB when applying. Okay. Always pay your net 30s or your net term accounts in full, because it can be a net 60 or a net 90, right? The point is just pay them in full, and also ahead of time if you can. And these are the providers that that I've seen. I guess I can recommend them, right? But you don't have to use any of them. You can use whoever you want. Personally, this is what I personally selected. I did Uline, Coast to Coast Office Supply, and Business T-Shirt Club. These are the three. So I started off with NAB Prime, then I got these three. Again, at the end of the day, you can do whatever you want. These are the other providers, but that's what I did. And then after that, around month 5, you can get your gas cards. Okay. And basically, the gas cards just help increase and build more trade lines. Okay. And kind of like what I mentioned above, not all of them report to the bureaus. So if you don't pick anything off the list that I show you, then just make sure you use those that actually report. Okay. And basically, there's two ways to apply for gas cards. If you're making more than 2,000 a month and you have the bank statements, then you generally don't have to wait until month 5. Okay, you can apply as early as month 3 or 4. But if you don't have the consistent revenue, then that's when I recommend you wait until month 5, so that way they can just go off your Paydex that you'll be building. Okay, so that's the two things. So if you do have revenue, consider applying earlier if you have the bank statements. If you don't have revenue or can't provide bank statements, then just wait until like month 5 or 6. Okay. And then here it is again, just repeating. Make sure that you use, if you don't pick anything off this list, make sure they report, right? Use your EIN and DMB number when applying. Also, this is just kind of just to remind you to use the card. Make sure to use it or they might close it. Don't focus a lot on the rewards. That's not really why we're doing this. We're only doing this to build a Paydex. So I wouldn't really focus too much on this. Personally, I wouldn't. And here are the different providers. So there's A to B. This one's actually a net 7 accounts, which means you have 7 days to pay it off in full. So just this one, you want to keep that in mind. And this is the one that I recommend for people making more than $2,000 a month, because they actually give you an option to upload bank statements, and you'll be able to go through it, right? You have a way to connect your account. So there's Fleet Cards USA, Wex, Phillips Conoco, and then Fuelman. Okay. One thing I want to quickly clarify as well is that you want to separate your applications with the different underwriters. So this is what I mean. Let me just open this up. If you go to Wex, you're going to notice that they underwrite for, or they provide a lot of cards for different companies, right? Which means they underwrite all of these. And why that's important is because if I apply for example, this card, right? The Meyer card, and then I just write like 5 of them from the same provider, you're gonna see the 5 applications they could deny me, right? So you generally want to select from different underwriters. So like Arco, for example, and then Exxon, okay? Because they're, again, Exxon's by Wex, Arco's by Fleet Cards USA, okay? Personally, what I did, I got the Phillips Conoco card, the A to B card, and then the Fuelman Deep Saver card, okay? And that's why I put it here. But Fuelman is also offered by Fleet Card USA. I just put the links to like what I personally got. And again, these aren't affiliate links, by the way. These are actual just the website itself. So, or just go to it. You can Google it. Now that's basically it. That's how you build your Paydex. Here's just information on your financials, like maintaining them. I recommend you do that, so that way you can go ahead and actually apply for funding as well. But this right here, this is the core strategy for building a Paydex. Okay, And really that simple. Net prime, your net 30s, all in the first month. Around month 5, get your gas cards, and you just continue to maintain all of these three. And usually around month 8, you're gonna have a Paydex. Some people start seeing a Paydex as early as month 5. By the way, actually, it may not be like an 80 score, but like they'll see like a 40 or a 30, right? And that's how that is, or how that works. So again, that's how you establish a Paydex. It's that easy to set up, right? You want to have your DUNS number registered, at least 2 to 3 vendor accounts, NAP Prime, about 1 to 2 gas cards, and you'll build your foundation. Okay, but keep in mind this isn't required for getting funding, right? This is just only for building a Paydex, and if you want to go ahead and build the Paydex, right? There's not a lot of lenders that even look at Paydex or require it. And in section 5, the funding mastery is where I explain all that. Okay, there, yeah. So we'll wait until section 5 to go into that, and yeah.